team that has benefited from so many close games this whole season. 100 Thieves have won so many games that they were losing until they won. They did that twice this week. CLG was smashing them. They ended up winning the game with less kills than CLG. Same thing with Dignitas here. Dignitas with a lot of pressure. They were ahead until that fumble over there at Dragon. And then 100 Thieves getting smacked by the best team in the league, Cloud9, just kind of like, yeah, they were completely outclassed there. How long is it going to take for 100 Thieves to like pull it together and finally get punished for I guess losing until they win? Like they're the beneficiary of NA not knowing how to close things out.
The realistic answer is that it actually doesn't matter. So there's a clip I want to show on stream of just like what an LPL team fight looks like. This is one from yesterday, and I think that this is like a good comparison tool for like how one of these like Dragon team fights should actually look on a top level. So we can get into that. But to answer your question, I think that it's really just like dependent on, you know, who is who is gonna like punish them. Like it doesn't matter if they end up getting like third or fourth in our league. Like these types of things they're gonna get punished eventually. Like it's just not good league. Like this is actually just crazy. Like this is an LPL team fight, which is just like, I don't know, man. When you see like the mechanics going on here, like I don't know what our advantage is over these teams, because I legitimately think that our the one thing that I hate about one of the narratives that I see people go for is they talk about other regions and they'll be like, oh, like, you know, like LPL is just all fucking like it's all just a bloodbath and no macro. Like no, LPL macro is significantly better than North American macro and LEC macro right now. Like their mid-tier teams have better macro than some of our top tier teams, right? So like when you talk to players that have actually went international, it's never like EU comes in and they're already like G2 is already competing with the top teams. It's that every Western team gets absolutely dumpstered by the Asian teams at all these events, and they have to play massive catch up. So it's about trying to like limit this amount of fucking this amount of catch up. Like when you go international, like I don't know, man. Like I feel like there's just there's narratives that people hold on to that like might have been true in like 2015. Like oh, like LPL is just all brain dead. It's like no, man. This macro is better than LEC and LCS. Maybe LCK macro can be like could be better than LPL. I don't watch enough LCK to know, but I can tell you for a fact that like the setups and stuff are way more intelligent in these other regions.
Go ahead, Ellis. I was going to say, before you make your point, can you go back to the video and highlight the vision on that side?
And the thing is, even before this, they scrap for vision. So the reason there's no ults is like because they don't actually let them walk in for free. Like people are not walking in for free. Like people are losing ults. Like people are getting chunked. People have to flash. They have to reset. Like there's so much stuff that's actually happening in these fights, like before the fight actually even happens. So then when the contest happens, like and people are so much more aware of their limits. Like I feel like if an Azir gets one shot like this, everyone would just be running in NA. It'd be like, oh, Azir's dead, like run, you know, where like everyone still like takes it as a fight. Like they're like, okay, so what was used here? Like the angle that Puff finds here, and like mind you, Viper has been performing as one of the best AD carries in the entire world right now. Like he is a top 5 AD carry in the world right now. This guy has been insane. Now go look in this fight. Just watch only Puff. Watch only Puff's mechanics here. At this point, like the Shy is creating so much space. He plays his team fights so well. I mean, the Shy randomly ends in lane phase, but like flash Q into 3-man sleep, like from Chun here, it's just nuts. And then Puff's angle, oh my god, it's so gross, dude. Like this is like a mid to bottom tier team in another region. You compare that to like Dignitas and 100 Thieves, like this team would like 3-0 these other teams. It's crazy.
I think
I just thought that was a good example. Go ahead, Ellis.
I mean, we're really desensitized to how much different the LPL and Korean teams are compared to NA and EU, because like what you said, NA and EU, they arrive at the international competitions and we never really get to hear the truth about like scrims. And then people they'll gossip about what actually happens in scrims. But I remember this past Worlds, one of the things Nemesis would talk a lot about is that, well, every team was getting dumpstered in the scrims. And that the Korean and Chinese teams on stage were significantly worse than how they are in scrims. Yeah. And he had never seen any sort of disparity like that playing against EU teams or NA teams. He'd never seen such a difference in power level. But I know that he said that like Scrim Dom 1 is untouchable, and that you can't beat them, but that the biggest thing that was like a shock to him is the speed at which LPL teams or LCK teams will converge on a fight. There's no hesitation, so you don't have any time to think. Whereas like in NA and EU, they do like those fucking stupid dances, like what you were talking about, right? Where it's like they're trying to make up their mind with what they want to do. Like someone's hitting the Baron, another person's like hitting the Baron. No one knows what they want to do. But obviously, like in the LPL, it's like they just snap their fingers, or like LCK, they snap their fingers, and it's just go time. And then everyone's in the moment mechanics are. Their bottom tier players are equivalent to, they're better than our top tier players mechanically.
Bro, Puff is legit somebody who's been like, he's been like benched for the majority of the season. He's like fighting for his spot in IG right now. And that AD carry is playing like that. That's a Xayah who's in a 4v5 where Rookie got pretty much one shot before. He's 1v9ing the entire fight. I mean, obviously, like, everyone's playing the fight pretty well, but like him finding the angle onto both carries and flashing forward to get like the E flash on Xayah into Gale Force to space, like, it's pretty fucking nutty, man. It's pretty fucking nutty.
Yeah, and that seems to be like what NA is just not doing.
But what I would say is like the other part of it is that like even when Western players come back and they tell their stories, people don't really understand like that they were getting beat so hard in scrims because the other teams were better. They kind of view it as like, oh, it's like an NA confidence loss or something like that. Like when Doublelift came back, he's like, yeah, we lost like 90% of our scrims. We lost 90 to 100% of our scrims after like the first week to all these teams. And people are like, oh, well, they must have just lost confidence and started playing bad. No, like the other teams were just actually that much better. Like the stuff that they were doing, like you don't think that after a while TSM tried to do the same things that they did in NA? You don't think they tried to play Zillion lanes with like the Nidalee Renekton? They didn't start running these scheme cons. They didn't try blind picking Rakan like they were and playing their comfort. No, they tried everything and they're just losing to literally everyone over there. Like it's actually like that crazy. So I feel like that gives more context to why people that watch other regions are so negative about NA. It always gets into this thing where like, oh, like people are being overly negative because they like, you know, they just like it because it's cool or something. But it's no, it's like actually because the mistakes that we're making are very basic mistakes that have been figured out before. And it feels like these new teams haven't actually like even covered the basics, like knowing what their team comps do, knowing like how to control chokes, knowing how to base for vision. Like that's something that was figured out in like season 5, season 6, man. Go watch old SKT. They knew how to fucking base for vision, like base early, buy pink wards, set up good pink wards, like talk about where people are going to place them, figure out flank engages. Holy shit, what is happening? What is that noise?
Holy my bad. Sorry, that's me. Sorry.
What the hell?
Did you just take like paper and just crinkle it in front of the mic, or what did you do?
I spilled some coffee.
He was trying to simulate the comms that we don't get to hear from Mike.
That's what it is.
Like, that was pretty painful to the ears, honestly. No,
sorry, ears.
On the topic of oh god, nope, never mind. I just lost my train of thought. GG.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that's probably what happens, you know. I mean, oh no, okay, global play.
North American shot caller.
Global play.
So I already know that the Reddit comments are coming for both of us, more so me than you. But Reddit comments are coming. What is the alternative that people want us to actually do? Because if you do watch global play, all right, because the alternative that they're suggesting is, well, highlight the positives. Don't just be don't be as negative. Okay, but if you watch global play, what you think is a positive is actually still not a positive. So it's like what's actually capable. You know what's happening in LCK. You know what's happening in LPL, etc. You know what other things are existing. And so what you're thinking is a positive is not actually a positive. When there are positive, reckless, inspired, right? Like, the players of that caliber that are like honestly just popping off and doing things, right? Vulcan in the Alistar game where he was honestly just on point, right? Yep. We're going to highlight them. But the thing is that obviously it's few and far between generally. That's just the case. And that's the sad reality. And I don't think it helps to feign ignorance and be positive pollies just for the sake of this is my idea of positivity. Look, instead of actually just talking about like, I'm going to start going into specific points. Every week I'm just going to come up with like one topic
that I think is like crucial that we're doing a lot worse, so people have something to focus on. So my one for the next week going into LCS, I want to talk about Dragon and Baron choke control. Like deep vision, like we can talk about deep vision in a separate one. Let's just see basic choke control. See when you have these control mages, these champions that are so OP at controlling chokes. I mean, we even saw like a Ziggs game, right? Like this week from LCS.
Insanity.
It's like one of from Insanity. It's one of the most OP choke control champions in the game. I just want to see that one concept. I want to see people not walking into dragons for free when the other team has vision control. That's like the one thing. Just let's focus on that, and hopefully that gets better in NA, and then we can move on to the next thing. There we go. That'll be our path towards improvement.
I like it. I like it. It was asked earlier by one of our loyal fans. It would be great if you guys broke down what each team can do once a week better, but I kind of like this, where it's just like, hey, everyone in NA do this one thing better, because rarely do we do it right. And gives us opportunity to be positive, right? We'll look back on it and be like, hey, which teams did it well? All right, good job. Give them a pat on the back, positive reinforcement like we like in NA, because everyone tells us you're a special cookie. And then we get to prove to others, hey, this is where you're coming short, because obviously we have some people in positions that aren't the best evaluators of talent or best reviewers of what's happening.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many of them, man. There's so many of them. Like the next one that's going to be after choke control is just like making your decisions early on whether you're giving a dragon or not. Like just when there's an objective that's being traded or something, I want to see teams make the decision early and not just watch the other team do dragon. How many times in NA do you see one team do a dragon that's like 4v5, or one team's missing ult, or they're not on their power spike, and the team that's actually like losing the situation, instead of trying to get something back on the other side of the map, they give the dragon, but they like watch the other team do the fucking dragon. Like they're just like up at the fucking dragon, like, yo, motherfuckers, you gonna do that dragon? Yeah, you gonna do it? Okay, man, I'm seeing you, motherfucker. I'll be at the next one. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude. Like I want to see teams give dragons, dude. There's such a blatant example of this by like CLG versus in the CLG Dignitas game. We can go over that one when we get to it. But like, I just want to stop with this, like watching the other team fucking do dragons. Like it's messed up, man. Like it's messed up. Make your decision. If you're giving a dragon, give it and gain something on the other side of the map. Like small objectives, vision in the enemy teams, deep vision on the opposite side of the map. Take the enemy's jungle camps. Like trade for a Rift Herald if it's open. Get a tier 1 turret back. Just something. Get something on the other side of the map. That's it.
Tom. Just one at a time. One at a time. Not everyone's fine.
You don't get it.
One
dude.
at a time.
You don't get it. They're deciding if they want to take the dragon or not.
They have control.
Okay. Here.
You've never look. I get it. You've never been shopping.
Like.